So I'm in the midst of making some pumpkin rolls, and while I'm waiting for the dough to rest in a cool spot for an hour, which I'm doing another video about that, I thought I would start in on my apple crisp. I've not made this recipe before, but I don't have a tried and true apple crisp recipe that I follow all the time. So I just found it in this vegetarian cookery book, number 4, which has pies, cakes, cookies, and desserts in it. These are an old series of books that was put out by the Avonus Publishing, Pacific Press Publishing, back in 1971. So this book is older than me. It's very nice to say that something is older than me. So anyway, in here is called a deep dish apple crisp, and so we're gonna give that a try and see how it works. So I have some Granny Smith apples, and then it takes some sugar, lemon juice, and then for the topping, flour, brown sugar, and some butter. So I'm going to slice and peel these apples all at once using my handy dandy apple corer slicer, peeler. Does it all at the same time. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I need 8 cups of sliced apples. Okay, so once it's all done, you end up with a little peeled and sliced apple. So what I do then is I come along, it leaves it all in a round, it just cuts in a spiral. So I just get my knife and there we go. Okay, so then I just come along and I slice it on either side, like so, and then you end up with these wonderful slices. Now sometimes the core doesn't always get the entire center core, so I just come along and cut those out. Just use my knife and do this. Like that. Take the core off. Now, part of what is left from peeling the apples is what my boys call apple spaghetti. And they will munch on this and just eat it all up. Henry, I have some apple spaghetti. Do you want some? No. Well, I'm sure once Gideon hears about it, he'll want some. Elijah, I have some apple spaghetti. Yep. I need the bowl. Take it all, take it all. So we'll just get all of these cut real quick, and then I'll come through and slice them through. Woo, that's fast. That doesn't look in the right spot. Oh well. totally not centered. And one more. Now this is all the Granny Smith that I have. If this doesn't give me my all my 8 cups that I need, then I'll just have to grab a couple other apples. All right. Gideon! Apple spaghetti. Alright, I've got those Granny Smiths cut, so let's see how many cups that gives us. Well, I think we're going to have enough. It looks like it. As I'm adding that this is 8 cups to right here at this line, so I think we'll have plenty of apples just with this. What?
Can I have a snack?
Yeah, what do you want?
Chips.
Okay, I can go a little bit.
No, thank you.
Alrighty. So these end pieces are a little bit thicker. They didn't get sliced all the way through, but I'm going to go ahead and throw these in, except that piece. So out of those, I think I had 6 apples, 2, 4, 6. That's all the waste that I have from all of that. So that's good. All right, now we'll get on to mixing and getting it put together and in the oven. All right, so I have my stuff ready to make the filling for the apple crisp, for the whole thing, not just for the filling. So here we have our 8 cups of apple slices. And to that we're going to add 1/2 cup of sugar. And 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. This will help keep the apples from turning all brown. Alright. Stir that all together. Alright. Now they call this recipe a deep dish, and they want it to be put in a 9-inch baking pan, but I prefer to have less fruit per crisp ratio, so I'm going to bake it in a smaller pan, or sorry, a larger pan, so that it's thinner. A thinner layer of fruit. spatula. All right. That's better. That would have been really thick. This is just about perfect. I know it'll cook down some, but it still would have been really thick. Okay. Now for the topping. We need 1 cup of flour. I was a little surprised. I was looking through the recipe and I didn't see any oats in there, which I like to have a crisp that has oats. But we'll see how this turns out. Then 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar. There we go. All right, mix that together. Then we're going to cut the 1/2 cup. Oh, this is a 1/4 cup. I need to go get a 1/2 cup. I'll be right back. Okay, so I went and I got another cup of butter from the freezer, and I decided it was, of course, frozen and too cold to use right away for making my topping. So I used the 1/4 cup that I just showed you, and then the 1/4 cup that I had set aside to use for my pumpkin rolls. And now I've already started cutting it in using a knife, but that takes forever. I didn't think my pastry cutter would fit in this bowl, but it looks like it will. So we'll go ahead and finish up with this. Oh, this is so much faster than the knife. It is spilling out a little bit, so I think I am going to transfer it to this bowl. It's a little bit bigger. Won't have as much chance of spilling stuff out, so. Just about there, I'd say. A little bit more. I'm trying to decide, sitting here thinking as I'm making this, that I'm surprised it doesn't call for cinnamon. I'm trying to decide if I want to follow the recipe as is, or if I want to add some cinnamon. I think we'll leave the cinnamon out this time and just see what it's like with just the apple flavor and not the cinnamon. Alright, probably not as fine a crumb as it should be, but I don't care. It's getting put in right now. Sometimes I just don't have the patience for that. So, there it is. Kind of a big crumb, but that's fine. So, I'm just going to put this over top. I always love when they say to sprinkle it over the top. It's like, oh, sprinkle it. So I've sprinkled the top or sprinkled the topping on here. And then they say to pat it down, so patting it down. Okay, now should have had this oven going. Bake at 350 for 45 minutes. So let's get the oven going. And once that's heated, well, put it in the oven. So that's going to be part of our dessert for Thanksgiving. I'm also going to make a pumpkin pie because you can't have Thanksgiving without pumpkin pie, at least in my mind. So there we have it, and we'll get back to you once it's in the oven. Here is the finished apple crisp. It's been sitting on the counter for a while cooling. Looks delicious.